Hey coaches, welcome back to Flag Football Nation. I'm Coach Adam, and today we're going to be going over 8 plays that beat the various man coverages in 5-on-5 flag football. And so the way to identify man coverage is, if you look at our formation here, is we have 4 guys lined up, each in front of our offensive players. And so when you're telling your quarterback to look for man coverage, the identifier that you'll see is that there is a guy in front of every single receiver we have. And so there's 2 versions of man coverage that you're going to see a lot. The first one is a cover one scenario where you have a man coverage defender on one of each of your receivers, and then you usually have a safety in the back that's going to play rover or whatever. He's going to scan the field, and whoever's getting beat, he may go over and help that player, his teammate, out. And so that's cover one, while you may have a cover zero look, which means that you have a guy lining up at 7 yards for USA flag, and he's blitzing. So that helps speed up the process, makes your QB, they're basically selling out the back half of the field in order to rush your quarterback into making possible errors and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to show how to beat in this video. So let's get on to the next play. So the first play that we're going for is just the slant flat concept. And so in this variation, we have double slants to the right side with our Y and Z receiver. And then we have a slant flat concept to the left side of the screen with the center and the X receiver. And so you can make the Y a flat if you want to. That's entirely up to you if that's what you want to do. But for me, I like doing double slants just because it gets the space open. And so what happens is if we go to the left side, we'll start with the left side first. Okay. The center is going to go flat. So this linebacker here is going to be over the center, is going to move out to this with the center and guard the flat. Well, now this means that this whole space in the middle of the field is open. And so we're running 3-step slants. So we shouldn't be getting deeper than 5 yards before we start making the slant. So if you just throw it in to that level right here, the safety is usually going to stand about 10 yards deep. He's not going to be able to come in there and disrupt that play quickly, that quick. So if you're having that happen, it means your quarterback is not throwing the ball fast enough. It needs to be a 1-step drop if that's what you're doing. I usually, if we do 1-steps, I don't even tell my quarterback to step and drop. I usually have his right foot back if he's a righty, or his left foot back if he's a lefty. That way that we're already, he's just got to lean on that back foot and throw. Okay. So that's the same thing to this right side. So the right side is if this linebacker right here goes with the slant, now that's open, the Z receiver. And then if he stays, then you still have that middle of the field that's wide open. It's just a very simple 1-2 read pattern. Your quarterback chooses the side that he's most comfortable with or she's most comfortable with. And then you're just reading it slant to flat when it comes to the X in center. And then you're reading inside out. So it would be Y1, Z2. So it's just that simple of a concept, an easy read for your quarterback. Okay. So the next play is actually going to be our jet sweep RPO. There's a video. I can put a thumbtack in the top right corner that goes and breaks down our jet sweep RPO as part of our 5-on-5 air raid offense. And this is part of the run game. So what this does is it's a RPO, but it's also a different variation of RPO. 3 different things can happen in this matter of plays, and it's just very simple to teach. So all it is the Z is running a 1-step slant. The center is going, 3 yards or whatever, and is running a little button hook. And then the X is going to go 7 yards or 5 steps, and he's just going to turn around. All right. So what that does is if this is man coverage across the board, then that means that this defender over the Y is going to have to go around the linebacker to try to stop this run. And so what we want is we want this Y receiver to, this is not a jog jet. I want you to run as fast as you can. We want to get you at a running start by the time we hand this off. We want you to be going full speed. That way, this guy has to try to go through around his teammate to try to grab you. And the best thing about this is that if he goes with the jet, I'm teaching my quarterback, if this space here in front of the Y is empty, we're going to pull the ball and we're just going to throw it straight to the Z on the slant. So if he stays and maybe this linebacker is trying to come over, then we still have that full speed head start, and we're hitting the sideline. And so once the ball is handed off, now we get to the RPO aspect of it. The Y is going to be reading this cornerback over the X. If the cornerback goes back to guard the curl, then the Y is going to keep the ball. If the cornerback comes up to play the run, then the Y is going to toss the ball over his head to the X receiver on the curl. And we have all this space to work with. Now, the safety isn't going to fully commit to the curl. He may just come down, try to grab the run, or he may stay back as the last line of defense as he's taught. So that's the beautiful thing about this play against man coverage, is the fact that it has answers for almost everything. So even with the linebacker shading over or whatever, you still have a running head start, and your Y is going to be, arguably your fastest and best runner anyway. So we're hoping that this guy is better than this guy, which is usually the case, because if you're a defensive coordinator and you're telling somebody to guard the center, it's usually going to be probably your weakest defender. So that's what we want in this scenario. So that's the jet sweep RPO. Next, we're going to go into ace slot fade stick and go. Okay. So what we have, we'll start on this right side. Okay. Very simple reads. What we're reading slot fade first by the Y, and then we're going to read this little hitch slant or whatever you want to call it by the Z. Okay. It's a very simple 1-2 read. So what we're doing here is, first off, your Y is going to be your best receiver for this play. And what we're going to teach him is how to get off of man coverage. And so the best way I can describe it, and if you have basketball coaching experience or your players have basketball experience themselves, it's the way you shake a man defender is off the line of scrimmage is almost exactly like you would if you're trying to cross over somebody in basketball. Whatever moves you do, you want to do that, at the line of scrimmage to shake this defender. And so I tell my kids, if you have basketball experience, I don't even care if you make the same hand movements as you do. You can go between the legs if you want. Just whatever is your go-to move to try to get past the defender in basketball, I want you to do the same exact thing in flag football. Okay? So we're going to do a little shimmy and try to break from this defender in front of us, and we're going to run a slot fade. We're running away from the safety. Okay? We're going to head for that back pylon in the end zone. Okay? So that's going to push this defender back. So what we're doing here with the Z is the Z is going to go 5 yards. He's going to hitch. And then as soon, like a second later, maybe half a second later, he's then going to break out. And so what this does is this pushes the corner back. He's like, okay, he's just going to sit there. And then he's going to move. And he's like, oh, snap. Now I got to come after him. And hopefully, I'm behind already. And so that's why it's easy, because, again, this center going to the flat is going to make this linebacker come with him. And so now you got this open field here in the middle. And now the Z is going to have plenty of space to work with. The safety is going to worry about this slot fade going deep because that's his, spot. So now you have all this green grass to go to, and the Z can make plays and tear open the defense just with this concept alone. Okay? So maybe in this case, let's say this defender or our receiver is not doing great at breaking away from his route, and so this is open here, and then let's say this safety comes down. All right, then we're going to go to the X curl and go here. And so what we're teaching with our X is we're going to be sit and curl until I tell you otherwise. So we're going to go 10 yards or 7 steps, and you're going to curl. And you're just going to sit there. Okay. What we're doing is we're training this corner. Oh, he's just going to curl. Maybe I could take a play off. Okay. And what we're going to do here is when you see this happen, now we're going to turn to the quarterback, be like, hey, okay, so now I want you to go curl and go. So we're going to curl. Quarterback's going to pump fake. I want you to do your best acting job, like you're going to throw this ball to this X. Okay. You're going to pump fake. The corner's going to bite, and then we're going to go deep, and we're going to score a touchdown. That's what the whole point of that play is. Okay. So that's going to be a slot fade, stick and go. You can call it whatever you want. That's just my best West Coast impression I can with these plays in particular. This is probably not what I would call them in a game or make it easy. You got wristbands, it's just a number. So don't pay attention to the names that I give these plays. This is not sacred text by any means. So that is this play. We'll go on to the next one. Okay, so next one is going to be bunch right Z motion drive. All right, so one of the common things that I want to say whenever you game plan for a man heavy team, a team that wants to play man all the time, is the best ways to do it is the use of motion and condensed formations. Okay, the use of motion now puts in confined, like it makes the defenders have to communicate with each other, and if they're not prepared for that, then that leaves them in a world of hurt. But then also in compression, it may cause confusion based off of the routes that the offense runs, and now guys are talking and having to make adjustments, which is what we want because we have adjustments built into our offense in form of reads that make the defenders even more confused. And so when you pair them together, you make them such a formidable foe that the defense really has to buckle down and try to understand what the heck is going on because they're not going to be able to adjust in time, and we're already up by 35. That's what we want. Okay, so this play is an example of both of those things. We're combining motion also with a condensed formation with the bunch right formation. So what we're doing here is the Z is going to motion in to form a bunch, and then he's going to let the X go first, and then he's running a little drag. He's going to be the first read here. Okay. The second read is going to be the X on this 10-yard in here. We want to make sure he's breaking towards the sideline. We're taking an outside release, and then he's going 10 yards downfield, sticking his right foot in the ground, and he's going to break in. Okay. Now the Y, super easy. You're just going straight down the field. Straight down the field. Okay. So what this does is this now causes the cornerback's going to come on over with the motion. Okay. He's going to come over here. But now he's going to have to go around everybody else to try to catch up with your Z while your Z has a clear path to go to the next part. Okay. And that's why he's the first read, because if this guy's coming over with the center, this guy's moving over here, this guy's moving over here. Now the safety's got to make sure he's guarding these two deep routes, because by this time the safety's going to see that these two guys are going deep. What's going to happen? He's not even thinking about the route that's coming underneath by the Z, which is such a beautiful thing about this play. And so the quarterback's going to read that first, and then the second is going to be the X. Okay, so maybe this safety's like, okay, oh crap, he's wide open. I'm going to come down and play him. Okay. So now he's going to come wide now, and now our X has to make sure we're running crisp routes. Plant that foot in the ground to come across, because this linebacker is going to think you're going deep, and then you're going to break. And now he's hopefully, if he's running with you, where his back is facing the quarterback and you cut in, now he has to go all the way around to try to guard you. And now that's even more momentum that he's losing on this route. And so it's a very simple pattern. We're going 1 to Z, 2 to X. If those guys aren't open, I want you to throw it to the center on this little flat route. The reason why is because in this case, it's very similar to the Z because of the fact that this defender that's covering the center is going to have to go through all this garbage to try to make it to the center, so it's going to be like a nice little pick too. He's going to be waiting for everybody else to clear out before he goes, but now you have this defender coming around trying to guard it, and he's going to have to go around this defender while these guys are back to try to guard the center. Okay, so it's just creating a lot of confusion, a lot of traffic for the defenders to try to cover, and that's exactly what we want when we're playing man, because we want to cause too much confusion. Okay, now I did just realize at the fact that I have missed cover zero for all of these plays, so we'll go ahead and cover those real quick. My apologies ahead of time. So I just want to make sure everything is covered. Okay, so in USA flag, or NFL flag, sorry, not USA flag. So USA flag might be the same way, but NFL flag, which is the league that I coach in, that format, the rushers have to be at 7 yards for the older age groups. So the way to identify that is if there is no safeties, hence cover zero, there is no deep defenders, and there's a guy at 7 yards, okay, and he's looking like he's going to rush. All right, so he's coming quick. So let's say from the left side, if you see a blitzer on the left side, read the right side. Read Y to Z. If the blitzer's coming from the right side, read X to center. It's just wherever side the blitzer's not coming from, you want to read that side for slant flats, okay, or double slants. That's just super simple for this concept. Okay. All right. So we'll go through the jet RPO. All right. So if you have a blitz coming from the right side, well, the jet's coming from the right side, and then by our rules, even if this guy goes with him, this rusher still fills this gap. So we're gonna just hand the ball off and use that speed by the Y to beat the sideline and beat the guy in front of him. Okay. If he's coming from the left side where the jet sweep is going to, now this defender is going to go across the formation with the jet, and now we're able to throw that Z slant right there. Okay. So, okay. The thing about this fade, stick, and go, okay, if the safety or the rusher is blitzing, the only thing about this is that this play can take a second to develop. All right. So what you can do is instead of this little hitch and slant, you can just make it a slant. Just make sure the Y goes first and then make it a slant, and that can be your read. Or what you can do is you can take the one-on-one with the Y against the defender and throw that stuff deep. Okay. So that's one thing that you can do, and that's really for either side, wherever this rusher is coming from. Okay. So for the drive, it's really just the Z is going to be our oh crap route. Okay. So if push comes to shove and your quarterback doesn't know what to do, just throw it quickly to the Z. When in doubt, throw it to the Z on the drive concept. And that's really from either side, whether he's blitzing from the right, the left, or in the middle. So just keep that in mind. That's really what we want. If he's blitzing from the middle, okay, I will say that we can't impede the rusher, meaning we can't force him to change his path from the rush point to the quarterback. Okay. Now, as coaches, you guys are going to have to adjust that with this play, because maybe for a solution, what you can do is you can say, okay, center, I want you to go first. So X, Y, you guys go, then center goes, and then Z goes. And then what we can do is we can roll to the right and then just toss it to the center because he's got all that grass, because the defender that's going to be trying to cover him is going to have to go through all of his teammates in order to reach him, and so he can head up down the right sideline and score touchdowns that way. So that would be my solution if this rusher here is blitzing from the middle, or you can take the one-on-one with the Y just going deep. That's one thing that Brett Favre liked to do. If they ran cover zero, he's hitting the deep receiver. just chucking that thing. So that would be the solution there. Okay, next play. Next play. Okay, so the next play is kind of a constraint play to um, the drive concept, and this is again another improvised West Coast inspired, name of the play. So we got bunch right, Z motion, Z sail, X whip. Okay. Like I said, I wouldn't call it that. Your kids' eyes are going to be huge if you try to say that out loud and for them to try to learn it. Just get wristbands, use a number. This could be number 5. And so much easier. All right. But the play itself, again, we're using motion to a condensed formation, in this case, bunch right. And then what we're doing is we're using routes that will beat man coverage and cause confusion. So again, the Y is going deep down the field, just a straight streak down the field. The Z now is going to run the same path like we're going to run the shallow route, the drag route on drive, but now we're going to go upfield 7 steps or 10 yards, and we're running the corner route. Okay? The center is going to wait for the Z to go, and then he's going to run flat down the right side. Now, the X is going to wait for everybody to go, and then he's going to go like he's going outside, and then he's going to plant with that right foot, come back inside. Okay? He's going to be really our man-beating route here if there is a blitz. Okay? So the reads for this are very simple. You can do it one of 2 ways. So you can do the first way, which is the more traditional flood read concept, which is the Y first, the Z second, and the center third. Okay, if you want to make it really easy, you can make it Z1, center 2, X3. Okay. So if you get a blitz, I would either make the center the hot or make the X the hot. Okay, the X is going to be this man-beaten route all the way. That's what this route is, to beat man coverage. Okay, so again, the corner is going to come over because of the motion, and so this guy's going deep, and now he's going to have to try to not only react to the almost same pattern that we're going with the drive, but now he's going to have to come here. He's going to have to come around. It's just asking a lot of this defender to try to figure out what's going on here. Okay? And so this other defender here is going to be guarding the X, and he's going to have to come like, oh, we're selling outside, and I'm going to cut with my right foot, and then I'm going to plant and come back across, and that's going to help our separation. And then the center's defender is just going to have to try to come around all this traffic and try to guard the center. And now the safety's got his hands full. Okay, he's either got to guard the Y, help guard the Y, or he's going to come all the way across the formation again to try to guard the corner. So he's not even worried about what's going on down here. Hence why I like making the X route the oh crap route if nothing materializes on the strong side of the play. Okay, and so against the blitz, if you're blitzing from the left side, okay, if you're blitzing from the left side, I like taking my quarterback and I like moving him out a little bit, give him a little bit more time to either dump it off to the center, throw it to the Z, whatever. If he's blitzing from the right side, you can do the same thing just with the X receiver. You can roll him out to the left and just, throw the little dump off to the X receiver or throw it away. It's really up to you. Now, if he's blitzing in the middle, again, this really isn't that big of a deal because we're still doing the same thing. Now, with this X route being a little bit more delayed, the blitz might come through and your quarterback may have to backpedal a little bit and just dump it off to the X. But the risk is in the reward, because if that play is completed, there is nobody except the defender that's guarding the X on this side of the field. So if this guy's got some speed, or at least gets a lot of separation, now he's got half the field to work with. And, you're off to the races with that. So This is bunch right Z motion Z sail X whip. So that play. We'll go on to the next one. Okay, so again, we're using motion. This is going to be a jet motion. Very similar kind of play. This can be an RPO if you want to make it. There's really two ways of running this. This is kind of two plays in one. This can be a run or a play action pass if you choose to do so. This trips right Z motion post wheel. All right. So what you can do is you can send this Z in motion. Again, we don't want a jog in motion. That's one thing that I've noticed from other coaches is that if you use an outside receiver in a jet motion, I've seen coaches use those players just jog, and then get the ball. No, 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 no. We want you to run like your life depends on it. Like there's a grizzly bear behind you and it's trying to eat you. Like you got to go. You got to get there. Okay. That way, with this defender in man coverage, he's got to go around everybody to try to catch you. So now you're gaining momentum and you're gaining yardage just because you can run in a straight line while this guy cannot. Okay. And then on top of that, if this is true man coverage, you have the whole left side of the field to, be able to work with you. Okay. So what you can do is you can make that a run. You can also make this a play action pass. So if he comes with, and you like your matchup over here, you can say, okay, pull the ball, and you could even roll to the right if you want to, and read the play Y to X to center. So what we're doing is we're causing this guy to go with, and the X is going to come underneath and run the wheel. So now either he has to come and try to go underneath, or he's going to go over. And again, that's losing momentum, and we're throwing touchdowns because this safety's got to be stuck with this wide receiver because he's heading right towards him. So that's one thing that I love about this play too. And so what you can do, see, is if this guy, you can make a read if you want. If this guy, if he stays, we want to hand the ball off. If he goes with, we want to pull it. That can be a rule that you want. Okay. And so another question you may have, okay, coach, well, what happens if this linebacker comes out here and guards the jet? Okay. Let's say they move him out here. Okay. Well, now everybody else has to move over. Okay. And now we're in an even more favorable position, and the same rules apply. Okay. Well, let's say okay, coach, what about if the safety now guards the center for whatever reason? Who knows? But again, that's even better because of the fact that now there is no safety deep because the center's running flat. The safety comes down here. Now the X is now running the wheel. Okay. So I mean, I can't even think of other scenarios of what if. So if you get a what if, leave it down in the comment section. Tell me a what if on trips right, Z motion post wheel, and I'll probably get back to you. Okay. So let's go on to the next play. All right. So now different look. So the most common formations to beat man coverage that are specifically made to beat man coverage are compressed formations, tight. We have bunch, as we gone over previously, and then we have stack, which is what we're getting into now. So you may notice this if you are a Patreon subscriber and have access to my air raid playbook, or we've gone over the Patriot formation. This is what this is. This is a stack right Z cross, or what we would call Patriot Z cross, along with the motion. And so in this scenario, we have Z cross here. Okay. So the X has a mandatory outside release. The center has a flat. The Z is going in motion to create a stack look and then is running across. while the Y is running an in route. Okay? So what we're doing here is when we create this stack to where this Z is right here, now these guys are going to have to either stack or they're going to go like this. Okay? So if they stack, now we got them where we want them because the Y is going deep. This guy's going to back up, and now this corner is not going to know what to do because he's being blocked by not only his teammate, but one of our guys too. And now, since the linebacker moves over, now the Z is wide open. We called this play a couple of years ago. Quarterback recognized it right away, threw it quick around here, and the Z split the defense and scored a touchdown. Just one of the most beautiful play calls I've ever had in my play calling career so far. So I love this, especially against man coverage. It's wonderful. But the standard reads for this play are going to be the X going deep, the center flat, the Z, and then the Y. Okay. The safety now has to worry about three different routes that could possibly lead him to danger. We have, of course, the outside release by the X, which then leaves open the middle of the field, and for the cross as well as the dig, he has the cross in himself. So now he either has to go with the cross or he has to stay for the dig. It's just if you choose one, you have two others that are going to hurt you. Okay, so in a blitz scenario, whether it's from the middle, the left, you could do the right if you wanted to. I still like taking that shot versus the X if you like your guy. The Z coming across, he's going to get out of the way before the safety gets. But really, if you're seeing a team run straight across cover zero man coverage like this, where the blitzer is coming from the middle, I'm calling this play and I'm telling my quarterback, okay, forget the front side. I just want you to snap the ball and then throw it quickly to the Z. And then the Z, I just want you to run. Just go. Because you will score as long as you put that speed behind you. So another fantastic play against man coverage. All right, so the final one, this is a little bit tight. Very simple play. It's just tight mesh corners, okay? So tight, what that does is it's also like a stack, also like a bunch. Really, we're combining everybody together and we're making it a whole lot of a mess just so that making man coverage is hard to do, okay? So the key thing is we want this tight, and also the X and the Z, we want to wait for the center and the Y to go first, okay? Because what we're doing here is we're making the linebacker and this other defender move back, and then the Z is going to go over top, causing his defender to come over top, and then the X is going to come underneath, and now this guy's going to go through all of this garbage to guard the X here. Okay? So, in this scenario, the reads are simple. It's just two reads. We're going to look Y first, Y, and then we're going to go X underneath. Okay? That's it. Because since we have the Z going over top, the X going underneath is more likely to be open. So you could even pair it with a roll if you wanted to. That's entirely up to you. If your quarterback's left-handed, then we just swap the play. That's all. Just flip it. Okay? So that is 8 plays against man coverage that will work. If you guys like content like this and want to see more of it, early uploads, extra content, playbooks, call sheets, whatever, check out our Patreon. We have multiple members that are signing up. Thank you all for signing up and help support the channel. So if you guys like stuff like this, like and subscribe. That always helps. If you have questions, leave a comment. So thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a great day. I'm Coach Adam. This is Flag Football Nation. Redefine the game.